class, today we're going to do lesson 8.2, which is on applying exponent properties involving quotients. So that word quotient, just to remind you, that means division. So our very first property is the quotient of powers property, which basically means if you're dividing, so this fraction bar right here really does mean the same thing as dividing. So if you're dividing two powers with the same base, notice both of these have the letter A, then it's the same as subtracting the exponents. So what I mean by this is like if we have x to the fourth divided by x to the first power, it's really like saying x to the 4 minus 1, which is x to the third. So the next property is the power of a quotient property. So that is if we are taking some type of quotient and we're taking it to a power, it's like splitting that exponent up and kind of like distributing it. So it goes to the top number and to the bottom number. So for example, if I have x over y to the third, this is really like saying x to the third over y to the third. So just like a lot of times, it's a lot easier if we actually try some examples rather than just talk about the words. So let's actually try some examples. Example 1, simplify the expression. So right now I'm going to see in letter A that this fraction is really the same as division. So I know that if I am dividing two powers with the same base, I really just take the exponents and I subtract them. So it's like saying 12 minus 5, which is 7. So it's like 6 to the 7. And notice that this base, this 6, stays in the answer. All right, the next one, same thing. This is a division. So I take my exponents and I subtract them. 7 minus 4. 7 minus 4 is 3, so it's negative 2 to the third power. All right, letter C. Now letter C, if you notice here, we've got a multiplication and we've got division. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the top powers, and we have 4, and if we remember from our previous lesson, 8.1, if I am multiplying two powers with the same base, I add the exponents. So I could do that first if I wanted to. So we've got 4 to the 2 plus 8 is 4 to the 10 over 4 to the 4. Now I am dividing, so now I take the exponents and I subtract them. So 4 to the 10 minus 4, which is 4 to the 6th power. Okay, another thing that I could do in this one, I'll do this part in red, is I could just go right to it. So I know that these two are going to be added, and then I'm going to subtract this one. So I could just rewrite this as 4 to the 2 plus 8 minus 4, and do that all in one shot. 2 plus 8 is 10, 10 minus 4 is 6. So that would be 4 to the 6th power. So either way that I want to do it is okay with me, whatever you prefer. All right, in this one, let's see, I have a fraction and then I'm timesing it by y to the 12th. Well, this is really the same thing as y to the 12th over 1. So if I think about that, this is the same as y to the 12th. 1 times y to the 12th is just y to the 12th over y to the 9th. I'm multiplying my top two, and then I'm multiplying my bottom two. Okay, so now I can see that this is a division problem. My bases are the same, so I can subtract the exponents. 12 minus 9 is y to the third power. All right, example 2. Simplify the expression. So here we've got our distributing going on. It's really like r to the 5th over s to the 5th. And we can't simplify anything there because those are two, the r and the s are not the same term, so we can't simplify them. Okay, similarly here, we're going to distribute this 3. So we have a negative 4 to the third over w to the third. I'm okay if you leave your answer like that. Because negative 4 to the third, and really maybe I should put parentheses around here because that negative is part of the 4 there. It's negative 4 to the third power. Because this is a smaller number, I could go ahead and I could actually compute that if I wanted to. Either one is fine. So if you left your answer like this, I'm okay with that. Otherwise, negative 4 to the third power, it's like saying negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. That's negative 64. So if I want to write 64 over w to the third, this is also an acceptable answer. Letter C, we're going to distribute again. So we've got negative r squared over 3 squared. Okay, and this one, I know that like a negative times a negative is a positive. So really maybe this one, the better answer would be r squared over 3 squared, and 3 squared is 9. If you left your answer like this, I am okay with that. If you simplified it, this is probably the better of the two answers, but either one is acceptable. Okay, letter D, we're going to distribute that through, so we have 5 to the 4 over t to the 4. And again, you can leave your answer like this, or 5 to the 4 is 625. So either of these two I am okay with. All right, let's take our notes and let's flip over to the back side. Example 3, simplify the expression. All right, taking a look at letter A. So I noticed that these negative 8s have the same base. So I can simplify the exponents, and we are dividing, so that means we subtract. So we have negative 8 to the 8 minus 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. So this will be negative 8 to the third power. Okay, here, let's see. I noticed that we've got some multiplication going on here and then division. So on the top, we are going to add the exponents, and then with this one on the bottom, we're going to subtract. So this is the same as saying 3 to the 5 plus 4, because we are multiplying, so we add, and then we are dividing, so we subtract, so minus 3. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6, so this would be 3 to the 6th power. Letter C. Okay, this, we've got parentheses here and then to a power. So this means we're going to take this 3 and we're going to take it to every single thing that is being multiplied in there. Every single thing. So we have 2 to the third times y to the 7 to the third power over y to the 5th to the third power. All right, so let's take a look here. 2 to the third, if I wanted to simplify that, that's 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Okay, and then what we do with these is they are, right now it's a power to a power, so that means we multiply them. So we're going to have 8, and then 7 times 3 is 21, so we get 8 y to the 21 over, and then similarly on the bottom, we've got a power to a power, so that means we multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. So, whoops, sorry. So this is y to the 15. And now, we've got two things that look the same, but they're being divided, so that means we subtract them. So this is going to be 8 y to the 21 minus 15. 21 minus 15 is 6. So this will be 8 y to the 6th power for our final answer. So now we're getting into some multiple steps. Feel free to pause this video if you would like to try one of these problems on your own first and then check your work. I do want to remind you that there are a couple of different ways that I could have done this. So I could have, immediately right here, I could have started multiplying and subtracting right away. So if you did the process in a different way but got the same answer, that is okay. Yep, whatever works for you works for me. All right, so taking a look at letter D, I'm going to distribute this 2 to all of these things. All right, so we've got 7 squared, y to the third squared, z squared, over y squared. So let's simplify some of this, okay? 7 squared is 7 times 7, so that's 49. This next one, we've got a power to a power, which means we multiply those two numbers. 3 times 2 is 6, so this is y to the 6. Then we've got z squared and y squared on the bottom. I didn't do anything with those yet. Now I'm going to look at what's the same. Well, there's y to the 6 on the top, and there's a y squared on the bottom. If I am dividing two powers with the same base, I subtract the exponents. So we have 49, y to the 6 minus 2, that's y to the 4. And then z squared, I can't simplify anything. So this is your final answer for letter D. All right, we've got 3 problems left. Letter E is next. Okay, we've got a bit more going on here. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 3 and distribute it through. And then I'm also going to write this as one big fraction because they are multiplied, and when we multiply fractions, we take the top 2 numbers and multiply them, and then the bottom 2 numbers and multiply. So this first part of the fraction, I can't simplify yet. Okay, now I have 2 to the third power. So times 2 to the third power, and then t to the third power. Okay, on the bottom, I just have t times s. All right, now let's look at what can we combine. So I see that there's a 2 here. That's 2 to the 1. There's no exponent there. Our hidden exponent is a 1. And I see that there's a 2 right here. Okay. When I am multiplying powers with the same base, I add the exponents. So this is going to be 2 to the 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay. Now, let's see what else we have. We have s to the 4th on top, and s to the, this will be a hidden number of 1 here. If I'm dividing two powers with the same base, I subtract their exponents. So s to the 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, and now let's do a different color. Let's do purple. So we have t to the third on top, and we have a t on the bottom. That would be t to the 1. So similarly on this one, we're dividing, so we subtract. So t to the 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, and now it actually looked like we didn't have anything left on the bottom, so that is our final answer. If we wanted to write this 2 to the 4 out, 2 to the 4 is 16. So we could have also written this. I'll accept either one of those answers. All right, letter F. Okay, we're going to first simplify this 3 throughout, distribute that basically through. Okay, well, there's a lot of things here we got to distribute it through to. So we're going to have 6 to the third. Okay, and now I'm going to try to do, since we've done this several times now, I'm going to try to do this power of a power right away. So what I mean by that is we have m to the third, I'll use a different color, we have m to the third to the third power again. So that means m to the third to the third to the third, that's like multiplying. So that's going to be m to the 3 times 3 is 9. Now similarly with the next one, we've got n squared to the third. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, on the bottom, we have 3 to the third, we have m to the third, and n to the third. All right, let's look and see what can we simplify. So let's see here. 6 to the third, that is 6 times 6 times 6, that is 216. We can use a calculator for that. 3 to the third is 3 times 3 times 3, that's 27. Okay, now we've got an m to the 9 on top and an m to the third on bottom. 9 minus 3 is 6, so we have an m to the 6 on top. We have an n to the 6th on top and n to the third on the bottom. 6 minus 3 is 3. Okay, just out of curiosity, I'm going to try doing 216 divided by 27 on a calculator. And actually, if I do that, I get the number 8. So this actually just simplifies to 8, m to the 6th, n to the third for my final answer. Okay, one more problem, and this is quite a challenging one. I'm not going to assign anything this challenging on your assignment, but if you want to watch, this is a good challenge. Way to test your brain here, okay? The very first thing that I'm going to do is I'll end up writing these as one fraction, and I'm going to take this 4 and distribute it to everything within these parentheses. So the first part of the fraction doesn't change. We have 4 to the a, and then we have b squared on the bottom. But now here's where we're bringing this 4 through. We have 2 times 2 to the 4. And then remember, when we have a power times a power to a power, we multiply. So this will be a, and then 2 times 4 is 8. And then it's going to be b, 3 times 4 is 12. And on bottom, we have a to the 4. Okay, I'm going to see what can I simplify. So 2 to the 4 is the number 16. Okay, so my two numbers here that are on the fraction, we have 4 times 16. All right, and then let's take a look at our a's. We have an a to the 1 and an a to the 8 on top. 1 plus 8 is 9. Okay, and then let's write the a to the 4 on the bottom. We'll do that in the next step. Now we have b to the 12 on top, and we have b squared on the bottom. All right, when we are dividing, we subtract. So 12 minus 2 is 10. Okay, we are almost done. 4 times 16, if I were to do that math, 4 times 16 is 64. And we have an a on top and an a on bottom, so we subtract. So 9 minus 4 is 5, and then b to the 10. All right, that is lesson 8.2. Thank you so much for watching. Have an excellent